Star versus the Forces of Evil and Star Marco's Guide to Mastering Every Dimension belong to daron, nefcy, Disney Channel, and all other people associated with its creation. Please go support Star versus the Force of Evil and go buy this book. Hello everybody, Raspberry Barrel here, and now it's time for the 6th chapter in the Star vs. the Force of Evil Guide to Mastering Every Dimension. This is Chapter 6, Being Proud of Where You Came From. I especially like this chapter because it's kind of our first look into the butterfly family after the Into the Wand episode, where we first see the tapestries and learn of a couple of the past queens and the history of Moon. Being proud of where you came from. Moondependence Day, the 37th of Gravnock. Marco had some issues with the national history of Muni. Mostly he thought the 37th of Gravnock, or Moondependence Day as we call it, seemed like it was a little complicated. Overly violent maybe, says Marco. I have never really thought of it until he pointed it out, but I guess he was right. You guess, says Marco. Maybe it was a little unfair that the humans had magic against the monsters. I'm still convinced the monsters were mostly jerks, though. And come on, look how cute this book is. You cut the book up into pieces? Isn't this from your childhood? Yes, Marco, because I needed to put it in this book. It's called scrapbooking. A long time ago, the first settlers of Muni arrived, a modest people with noble pursuits, life, liberty, and corn. But the wicked monsters rose up and attacked the innocent humans to take back Muni for themselves. So the queen used her magic to turn the simple peasants into a fearsome army. And then there was fighting, and the humans won. This part's suspiciously lacking detail, says Marco. Okay, it's a little unfair. Mostly, says Marco. Mostly, says Star. There's a nice little picture of Star with the book. The queen is king, or matrilinity, the fact in the fiction. In Muni, the queen is way more in charge of things than the king is, but even though my mom may call the shots, she also has to do all the super boring royal stuff that my dad doesn't have to do, like running all of Muni and making all the important decisions for the safety of its people. This happens when you become queen, because the throne is like a gift, one that gets handed down from queen to queen for, well, ever. So when the old queen gets tired of being queen and maybe wants to take a vacation, she gives the throne to her daughter, says Marco. Oh, that doesn't sound like a gift. That sounds like a lot of work and responsibility. I said it was like a gift, Marco. I didn't say it was one. Anyway, I think that's why we've only had a few monster uprisings instead of one, like every day. Because most of the queens have been pretty good at their job, like my mom. In honor of all the awesomeness of queen stuff, I made this nifty flowchart to what I would do if I were queen tomorrow. First order of business. Okay, so here's a picture of this. I guess I'm just going to read all of them, maybe not in a specific order. First order of business. Send Glossric to check out all the monster uprisings. Glossric gets captured by monsters. Forgachu sent Glossric to check on any monster uprisings. Go hang out at the bounce lounge with Ponyhead. Have an awesome time dancing with until you drop. Make queenly decisions isn't that difficult if you don't forget to have fun. And then back up to the top. First order of business. Appoint Princess Ponyhead as super secret Oscar spy. I ex-nay that idea. Instead, appoint Marco as super secret Oscar spy. Ransom newly appointed secret Oscar spy to get mermaids to stop attacking. Get attacked by angry mermaids. Turn throne room into mermaid grotto. Back to first order of business. So yes, this is very confusing, but there you go. And now a letter from Moon. My dearest Star, there comes a time in every mother's life when she has to let her child go. It's a very difficult thing because you know that the world is full of monsters who would seek to harm the child you hold so dear. Yet it is a double-edged sword, because the only way for you to acquire the leadership skills you need to someday govern our lands is to go out into the world and experience life. I am cheered by the fact that you have so many tried and true friends like Marco and Princess Ponyhead. I know that they love you and that on the many adventures you go on together, they will look after you and you will look after them. As you already know, having a strong circle of friendship is the greatest magic of all. But friendship alone will not always be able to protect you. For those times, you must use real magic. As powerful as your wand is, it is merely a tool to help you access that is already inside of you. I know that Glosstrix charmingly refers to it as dipping down, but I like to think of it as finding the rainbow inside. You, my lovely star, possess the most glorious rainbow of all. With love, Mom. My mom is not a big hugger like my dad is, but sometimes she writes me letters that let me know how much she really loves me. The Grandma Room. So there's a sort of off-limits room in the Butterfly Castle that I'm not really supposed to go in, but I totally went in there when I was a little kid. And maybe I sort of went there, traveled inside my wand recently, sort of. Anyway, when I was a kid, the Grandma Room, that's not the official name, I think my mom calls it the Tapestry Room, was a smelly old room with wall rugs on it, and each wall rug has one of my grandmas on it. It's still a smelly old room with wall rugs, but my grandmas were all super cool. Selena the Shy. I knew her as Great-Great-Grandma Shy, and she was beautiful, according to everyone. I was like, so what? But my mom explained that her beauty was one of her powers, and she was actually able to disarm monsters with a single glance in their direction. Skills. What lies behind the golden fan, her hand is sweetly hold, a trove of cosmic secrets that never will be told. Solaria the Monster Carver. A castle stormed is a hero born, with might as strong as steel. Kneel the void before her, and the crushing force she wields. Grandma Solaria. Never heard of her. I have a grandma who had a shaved head and carved monsters? Hello, the only grandma my mom talked about besides Selena was Supina the Strange. She could use her magic to, make soup. Eclipsa, Queen of Darkness. Eclipsa, Queen of Muni, to a Mumin king was wed, but took a monster for her love, and away from Muni fled. Before Glosstrick told me she had a locked chapter in the spellbook, I had never heard of Eclipsa either. When I found her tapestry, I brought up a lot of questions. I wonder why my mom never mentioned her. I mean, I read her chapter. It was dark, but sort of meh. What's the big deal? Festivia the Fun. When the threat of monsters is at the gate, has darkened out the sun, let the kingdom find some peace and joy in Festivia the Fun. Muni's original party girl. She kept the people happy when war was waging outside the gates, and I hear she also had a pretty wicked wand blast. Skywyn, Queen of Hours. Tick-tock, the clock talks, but secrets are its powers. The only one to break its spell is Skywyn, Queen of Hours. Skywyn is one of my most respected grannies. She added a lot of great spells to the book. Most of them involve time and movement. Moon the Undaunted. Not a grandma yet. The immortal monster will long be haunted by the darkest spell of Moon the Undaunted. My mom? Little Chauncey? My mom being a rad spell-blasting lady with a hot go-go power boots? Toffee? Glosstrick? Toffee's losing a finger to my mom? So many questions. And that was the end of Chapter 6, Being Proud of Where You Came From. The next chapter we're going to read is going to have more stuff from the original spellbook. More stuff all about the past queens and stuff. It is Star Glosstrick's Guide to Magic. The little bit given to this book. Little hint. So this chapter was nice. Star cut up her pop-up book and put it in her scrapbook. This is the first time we see the tapestry of Skywyn, Queen of Hours, and the first time we actually knew the name of Festivia, the name, and her little rhyme, really. And we learn about Selena's power of beauty, and This might be the first time Supina was ever mentioned, but it might not be. So this was a very nice chapter, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Thanks for listening and watching. Star vs. the Force of Evil belongs to Daron, nefcy, Disney Channel, and all other people associated with its creation. Please go support Star vs. the Force of Evil and go buy this book.